If you master this, you don't need therapy at all. You don't ever need to go see a therapist for the rest of your life. And it's the skill of self regulation. So, what is self regulation? Self regulation is the ability to identify the feeling in your body. What is this emotion I feel? What is this feeling? Is it anger? Is it guilt? Is it fear? You identify the feeling. And then you ask yourself, what triggered this feeling? Why did it trigger this feeling? What is the deeper rooted issue that caused this situation to trigger that feeling in me? And then you start thinking about different situations, different times where that feeling was triggered. And then you just keep going deeper and deeper. And with most things, you end up in your childhood when you're 5 years old, 3 years old, 6 years old. A memory maybe you hadn't even realized was there. And then you realize it was just some stupid misunderstanding because your 5 year old, 4 year old dumb brain interpreted things a certain way. So, what you do is you express empathy of that other person that caused you to feel that way. Maybe it's some form of abandonment or guilty, or maybe you were 2 years old and your mom was busy and she couldn't feed you and you cried, and then suddenly it spiraled up into shit ton of negative feelings for you. Something stupid like that. So, what you do is you forgive everybody, you forgive yourself, and then down at that root level, whatever memory it triggers in your childhood, you reinterpret it into something positive, into something stronger. And then suddenly, once you do that, it slowly spirals up to top. And then, whatever, if you do it correctly, the thing that triggered that feeling of fear, guilt, anger, whatever, suddenly it just doesn't trigger it in you anymore. And you kind of fixed yourself. Now, sometimes you might have to do this multiple times for the same feeling because you didn't do it correctly or you didn't go deep enough the first time. So, once you learn to do this regularly with whatever negative feelings, whatever insecurities you have, you can regulate yourself, and then suddenly every low, you can just immediately trigger yourself within a couple of hours, minutes, or a day or two, and bring yourself back to baseline and prevent whatever that feeling is from bringing you down again. Suddenly, you don't need to go to therapy. You regulate yourself, you can fix yourself, and you can just make deep internal changes within yourself. And then externally, people think, oh, you've changed, you've gotten better. And then everything else in your life just begins to align and just begins to get better. You start making more money, you start becoming more disciplined, you start having better friends, you start having better relationships. Suddenly, everything else just gets better. So learn to self regulate yourself so you don't have to waste time and money on therapy.